Welcome to a self-published author's diary. I am Elodie Novodatsky. I write about first times, second chances, things that scare the crap out of me, and things that make me laugh out loud. I'll be speaking with you and sharing my adventures in self-publishing, the behind the scenes of writing, and the business side of it. And before we get started today, a small message from our sponsor, Anchor. Thanks for listening. Hello, I'm recording this on Thursday, December 23rd, and I'm waiting for my husband to come back right now from Baltimore with some doner kebab. I'm very excited about this. Has nothing to do with writing, but this is delicious. And I think I've talked about those kebabs before. So again, not an ad, just me loving those kebabs. Today, I'm going to talk not only about doner kebabs, but about 5 things that I've learned about self-publishing and 1 thing I've learned about writing in 2021. And I'll start with the 5 things that I've learned about self-publishing. The 2 first ones are related to my newsletter and how important it is for me to have a newsletter, because I do enjoy writing emails. I think it is easier for me to be more authentic per email, because as I've mentioned before on my social media, it's kind of difficult for me because of it feels more difficult to me because of this balance between me personally and then me as an author. And yes, it's the same person, but it's just a bit more complicated, and I'm still learning how to do that. But when it comes to my newsletter, I've realized that I do enjoy it. I do enjoy sending emails. I think it's easier for me to find things to talk about. It's weekly that I do them, so that's something I might actually do too in my social media at some point. It sticking to a calendar might be good for me. But what I've learned about my newsletter, so the first thing that I've learned is that writing more emails once every week really does work for me. The open rate and clicks have been much higher. So basically, I've started the year, I didn't send any newsletters in January 2021. And then very sporadically between February and about March. And I think it's about in spring that I've really started. I asked first people who were in my newsletter who had not opened emails, at least according to MailChimp, for several weeks or even months. I've asked them if they wanted to stay in my newsletter, and I followed the advice. I think it was I cannot believe it was from Tammy Labrecque, or if it was from Nick Stevenson. I will put both those links in my episode's description. But, they said you can send out an email and then add something for subscribers to click on, so that you're sure that if they click on it, because that's still being recorded no matter the changes in emails, reporting, that if those people still want to stay in your newsletter, subscribers. And I did that. Quite a few of them actually clicked on the link, and so I made sure that I kept them in the groups that I had. And then once I've done that, I started sending emails every week. And my open rate went from 25-35%. Rarely I had like a 40% spike in opening rate. Sometimes I think I had 150%, but that was very, very rare. Now what I get regularly in terms of opening rate is at least between 35 and 65% of my subscribers open my emails that are counted by MailChimp, knowing that some emails sometimes count as open even though people did not open them. Like, there are things. But I also get more clicks, which is something that I can measure, because my newsletter has helped me so much in terms of getting pre-orders this time around. My newsletter is about 400 people, and out of those 400, I have engaged subscribers are about between 50 and 80. And when I mean engaged subscribers, those are the ones who always answer polls when I send out polls. Those are the ones that click on links regularly. And that really helps me in terms of getting the word out there. So that's something that I want to keep on working on. And then talking about the newsletter, adding the exclusive bonus scene at the end of the book. So, like right after the end, when you write the end, you can add a little image, or you can just write, hey, do you want an exclusive epilogue, an exclusive bonus scene, an exclusive deleted scene? Just subscribe to my newsletter, or just click here. And then that takes them to the landing page. This has also helped me with the book that I've just released in French. So with La fiancée sur la touche, I've had a newsletter subscriber almost every day during the first week of release, just signing up to my newsletter to get the bonus scene. So that was an organic way of getting the subscribers. No giveaways, just directly people who enjoy my writing and who want to have access to the newsletter. I do also have another way for them to get the bonus scenes and the exclusive epilogue, so they have a choice on the way they get it. And I think I'm crossing my fingers. That means that I will definitely have very engaged subscribers, and that since I've just released it, and this is something in French, I'm going to do an email every 2 weeks and see how that works. But I'm not going to go like I did with my English newsletter, just very sporadically sending emails. And because it just works for me. And I think it just works in terms of email marketing for me right now. This is one way that I'm able to reach out to readers and build a relationship with the readers. And yeah, so it's working for me. And that's something that I've learned in 2021, because I definitely didn't do it that way prior to 2021. Another thing I've learned about self-publishing is that when it comes to new releases, and again, this is for me and not for necessarily, it has to go back with the goals that you set yourself and the way you want to approach self-publishing. But for me, I needed more reviews. As I've mentioned, the way that I self-published The Leftover Bride, I didn't have advanced review copies early enough so that I could get reviews very quickly on Amazon, on Goodreads, and on e-retailers. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to use Booksprouts and I'm going to use NetGalley. Booksprouts was good. I had I had a few reviews on there, but I didn't have a lot of readers who shared a lot on social media afterwards that I'm aware of. While for NetGalley, I had a lot of readers who shared my books with their networks and who reviewed it very timely, very quickly. So I had a few reviews from my newsletter. I had very few reviews from Booksprouts, and then from Booksprout, and then I had a lot of reviews through NetGalley. So it was something that, in terms of investment for me, in terms of getting my name out there to readers, I think was useful. And I have about 10 people that I need to contact who said they wanted to get in touch with the author, which I need to do in the new year. I'm not going to do that right now because I have to write the short story for my newsletter. So that's my main focus for next week. But it's something that I wasn't quite sure was going to work. I wasn't quite sure if the investment was going to be worth it, if I should just spend that money on pure advertisement and get, readers that way. But I had a lot of requests. I had a lot of people who really enjoyed the books. I got newsletter subscribers. And I got visibility that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So for me, it was a good investment in terms of self-publishing in 2021. I actually had a better experience with it than I did the last time I put something up. So I think I had more requests. So maybe my cover worked better. Maybe again, maybe the cover, maybe the fact that it's contemporary romance and not a thriller, maybe the time of the year, because I put it on NetGalley right before the holidays, and my book is a holiday rom-com. So yeah, maybe all of that, all those factors influenced the fact that I had a very good experience this time around. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Will I put the next one on NetGalley? Maybe not, because my goal is actually to have the eARC, the advanced review copy, earlier, hoping that way I can get reviewers from my list, from my newsletter subscribers, and by posting on social media more easily and get quite a few reviews, before the book publishes. So in terms of timeline, I want to do my timeline differently for the next one. And so we'll see how that works, and if I do or do not need to add NetGalley to the mix. Another thing I've learned about self-publishing in 2021, I could actually do way more than 5, but so number 4, I could talk about the translation again, which I'm very happy with the way that it ended. Like, the product that I published is, I think readers are connecting to it mostly. And so it's, that's exciting. But I think number 4, something that I've learned about self-publishing in 2021 is that I need to keep learning, which sounds like I need to rethink some of my branding and maybe more focused about my branding. So I've just joined a book funnel promo, which is about Sweet with Heat. And that's pretty much what I'm writing. Like, The Leftover Bride is sweet with heat. So it's not full on steamy all the time. It's not sweet because it does have heat. So it's sweet with heat. And I was doing some Amazon searches and some searches, and it's something that I could try to brand some of my stories as when it comes to the ones that are coming out for Swanscove, for the Swanscove series. And so I think it's just rethinking, like, when something is not working exactly the way that it could, it's just always rethinking and always learning and kind of adding new building blocks to my branding and working on my business plans and my goals. And I think just being more focused and targeted in the way I do things without losing the joy of writing. And so that's something that I've started, I think, doing and I'm learning to do. And that's something that, even though I had in mind before, I think it really materialized for me this last year in 2021. So yeah. And number 5, something that I've learned about self-publishing this year is that I still thoroughly enjoy it. I enjoy the process. I enjoy what self-publishing entails. And I've learned so much of that thanks to the interviews that I've done and the people I've listened to. And it's something that I've learned about myself, but it's also something that I've learned by listening to others. And I'm thinking of the interviews that I've done throughout the year on this podcast, and talking to Leslie, talking to NS about self-publishing and, how they're achieving the goals they're setting to achieve. And yeah, I think it has propelled me, or it propels me to really come up with a plan for next year, a plan for my pen name that I'm trying to do rapid release with. And I'm just in awe, I think, of the talent and the support that I also found this year in the self-publishing community. I mean, it's, it was amazing to me that I could just write to that Enes just accepted to talk to me on the podcast. I did not know her. I don't know her personally. And when I read her BookBurp article, I was just, so impressed with everything she was sharing. And then when I contacted her and she accepted to be on the podcast and everything, I mean, it was just, I'm just, I guess, humbled in a way, and just also motivated. And yeah, I think I feel like even though things are still not the way I want them to be in terms of the business side of self-publishing, that I am closer to having the tools and the knowledge to achieve those goals. Because I have seen that, my bilingual books are working very well. I've seen that my French book is working very well. And I've seen that my English book is working much better than all my other books so far. And so despite the fact that I had such a break in publishing between 2019 and 2021, I feel like I can apply everything I've learned for, the next books in my series. I can do that one thing a week to help my royalties. I can continue to learn. I'm just excited about looking back in more details at what has worked and what hasn't worked. I started doing it, with NetGalley and with my newsletter, and I want to see more about the ads and what has worked and what has been the best avenue for me for advertisement. I want to see what marketing strategies has worked the best by looking at everything that I've done. And yeah, it's exciting, and I want to write those stories. I want to publish those stories. I want to share those stories with the world. And one thing I've learned about writing in 2021, I've learned a lot about writing in 2021. I've learned, I took classes, I beta read, which I critiqued, which always helps me learn about my own writing and is wonderful. And I'm so lucky to have amazing and talented and just all around great critic partners. And I've also talked about writing with Katie Upperman and Megan Carter and Mona Schroff, and of course with Leslie Penelope and Enes Johnson, and talking about writing with those wonderful authors has been really inspiring to me. There is one thing that I'm going to note that I've learned about writing in 2021, something very personal and close to my heart, is that I can still write. Even if it's hard, and even if it's complicated, and even if publishing creates an entire other layer on top of writing. But yeah, 2021, I learned I can still write. I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season, and I wish you all the very, very, very best. A lot of joy, a lot of happiness, a lot of smiles, no matter what you're celebrating. And yeah, just happy moments with your loved ones, with your friends and your family. Thank you again so much for listening. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple or on Spotify, then I think you can rate it now on Spotify as well. So don't hesitate to rate it. If you're listening to this podcast on another platform, please, please, please also subscribe and share with your friends. And yeah, thank you. If you have any questions, don't forget you can send me a voicemail. You can also send me an email at author.elodie-nowodatsky@gmail.com. And Nowodatsky is NOWODSZKIJ. Stay tuned next week for an episode on the highlights, in a way, like the real highlights. The highlights of some of the things that has happened in my self-publishing career in 2021. Things that I'm looking back on and that made me smile about the last year when it comes to self-publishing. So again, thank you for listening. And to all writers out there, happy writing, and to everybody, happy reading.